Welcome back to Couch Talk, everybody. Today I'm here to talk about the new trailer for Outlaw King, starring Chris Pine and Aaron Taylor Johnson. Chris Pine is more notably known for the Star Trek series, and he was Steve Trevor in Wonder Woman. And Aaron Taylor Johnson was in Nocturnal Animals, and he was in Kick-Ass, and he was Quicksilver in the one Avengers movies before they, spoiler, killed him off because Fox still owns the rights. Anyway, this is a new Netflix movie, but before I get into that, I just want to say that people are seriously taking for granted how much of a giant Netflix is becoming. In 2018 alone, they spent $13 billion to make their own movies, let alone acquire other movies. Like, they made Bright. That was their first huge blockbuster that they made, aside from the Adam Sandler movies that they, had him sign on for a couple years. Bright came out with Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, and it was met critically with kind of bad praise, but a lot of fans liked it. I myself liked it a lot. Now they're going ahead with a sequel coming out. David Ayer, the director, who also did like End of Watch and Suicide Squad and Fury, he's back on track for this one, and he's directing this one again. Both main characters are coming back for the second round, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. They made another movie called Mudbound that blew me away, and I was super depressed that it didn't get nominated for an Oscar. However, I did hear that Netflix is trying to open up their own string of movie theaters, because you can't necessarily get an Oscar unless you are in a movie theater. So if Netflix gets their own theater, Skynet, they're just taking over. They're just taking over. And honestly, I'm all for it, because Netflix has some really good movies. And they're also coming out with Triple Frontier, which has like Garrett Hedlund, Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy. It has Ben Affleck. All-star cast, and it's like a crime movie coming out. To get all of those A-list actors in one movie shows that Netflix isn't just some streaming service anymore. Like, it is a giant now, and like big actors actually want to be a part of this. Martin Scorsese is making a movie about the death of Jimmy Hoffa with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and it's insane how big Netflix has gotten to. They started off as just sending DVDs to people for rentals in the mail, and now they're making their own movies and about to buy their own chain of movie theaters. It's insane. The big whole thing, during the Super Bowl was the Cloverfield Paradox, which was horrible, was going to come out to theaters, but I guess the studio didn't have faith in it, so Netflix bought it and streamed it on their service, and it was one of the most watched movies of like the year. And let's not forget Mowgli, the other the darker Jungle Book take from Warner Brothers, done by Andy Serkis. That movie's going to look phenomenal. I don't know why Warner Brothers gave the rights for Netflix to show it instead of putting it in theaters. Maybe they didn't think it was going to do good. Maybe they don't have faith in it. But for one thing's for sure, the movie's going to look fantastic. It's Andy Serkis from the Planet of the Apes. He always brings his A-game to this kind of stuff. And then let's also not forget Altered Carbon, the most expensive Netflix show ever made, which it was pretty much Blade Runner with Rick Flag from Suicide Squad. I forgot what his name is. Damn it. I always do this with at least one person. Anyway, now we have The Outlaw King. Now, I'm not too familiar with the true story of this, so I'm going to read the synopsis just from IMDb. I wrote it down here. After being crowned King of Scotland, legendary warrior Robert the Bruce is forced into exile by the English and leads a band of outlaws to help him reclaim the throne. Now, I watched a trailer of this, and the first thing I want to point out is, holy shit, they threw their budget at this movie, because it looks huge. It is like Game of Thrones quality, and Game of Thrones quality didn't become Game of Thrones quality until the Battle of the Bastards, which really blew me away. And this isn't like a series that's been building up to like a bigger budget. Like, they must have faith in this, because the battle scene in this movie looks like something you would see in a movie theater, like Hollywood quality of a movie. It really blows me away. The cinematography, it's so beautiful. The landscapes, the still shots, it's very scenery heavy, and it looks very dramatic. I think this is the most dramatic thing I've ever seen Chris Pine in. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I can't say as much, because in Nocturnal Animals he gave the performance of his career, at least in my opinion. But the action in this looks just absolutely stunning, and I'm just so blown away by the fact that we're getting something like this from Netflix. Like, you'd expect this from, like I said, a movie theater or HBO or something, maybe even AMC, but AMC wouldn't do that, because this clearly is trying to get a hard R rating. It looks very violent. Like I said, I don't know much more about the story to really weigh in on if I think it's interesting or not. I mean, the premise of it sounds interesting. It kind of sounds like another version of like Spartacus, you know, where he led like a band of misfits. But I guess he wasn't really trying to take back the throne. What can I relate this to? I don't know. It's just a whole bunch of different vibes. You know, I'm getting like a Robin Hood with the Russell Crowe one vibe. I'm getting a Spartacus vibe. It's a good underdog story, so it sounds. And like I said, I don't know the true story based off of this. I mean, briefly, like a little bit, like the name sounds familiar. So I can't really say like, oh yeah, this trailer looks accurate to what actually happened, but I am excited to watch this and learn about it because I love underdog stories and I love true stories, and this really looks like it's going to be a home run for Netflix. I don't see why not. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Have you seen the trailer? Do you want to watch this show? Are you a fan of the actors in it? Do you know about the true story around this movie? Anyway, if you like this video, please like, please subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you next time.